as a woman, I can do a little kid's voice, and where guys grow up and their voices get lower. We kind of always just stay right here, so I can do like a little boy, or I can do a little girl, or I'm kind of all over the place. You can play, what's great is you can play a baby and then an ancient person all in the same day. Oh, I think she'd be incredibly strong, Mrs. Optimus Prime. She'd be very caring. She'd be very demanding. Be great. I'd love to play Mrs. Optimus Prime. If I was Mrs. Megatron, I think she'd be in here and she'd be a little more gravelly, and a little bit more with a bite, a little more sinister. I think my favorite part of voice acting as a career is the actual sessions.
We recorded a lot of times differently than they were used to doing cartoons, in that we do things in ensemble.
It's wonderful to go into an ensemble cast and you've got 5 people on your left who are geniuses and 5 people on your right who are geniuses that can do anything with their voices.
And they had a thing called perfect pause in those days, and that was you put a second between every line of dialogue.
It's fun to watch somebody like Frank Welker play off of somebody like Michael Bell, to play off of somebody like Peter Cullen.
But in that second, they wouldn't have to animate anything. So if you take every line of dialogue in the show, you'd save a minute or 2 minutes per show of animation. And it's kind of like this scam. I don't know who invented it, but the minute you got rid of perfect pause, the shows just started to come alive, and it felt like it felt like more of a real theatrical production.
I remember we were doing a session, and this one guy went, "Yeah, come on!" And we heard this like rip, and his pants had ripped because he did this huge kind of walla sound, especially when you're fighting. Ha, 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 and all of a sudden we hear this cloth rip, and it was one of the actors whose pants had ripped in the session. Well, we were like laughing, crawling out of the booth. We were laughing so hard, and the poor guy, it was great.